Yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Armband FPL show. I'm Chris and Kieran is here too. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks. I'm excited that FPL is finally back. It feels like those 2 blank game weeks have I don't know, just been slow. Just big long weeks in between. So I'm looking forward to
Big time.
Yeah, back-to-back game weeks now. So yeah, happy to get to it. Right, we've got a few topics to cover today. Obviously, quick turnaround time because Tuesday evening deadline. So let's just start by doing a quick recap of game week 21 as it was. And you had a juicy second part of the game week.
Yeah, so ended on 69 points. I can't even remember what was on the first show we did. I think it was 30-ish. So yeah, doubled that in the end of the second week. The defense all came in well. Porro, Gusto, Konsa, and then obviously the haul from Gabriel should have been more because Saka obviously they've changed the goal from a own goal now into
Yeah, I saw that.
a proper goal, and would have been a Saka assist. So Saka wouldn't have blanked. So obviously the Gabriel haul is great. You're probably a bit fuming with that with a Saliba owner.
I think it's probably one of those things. When I first got him, he scored that goal, but since then Gabriel's got 2 and he sort of outscored him. So it's been typical between them all season, isn't it, really?
Indeed, it's sort of tit for tat, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I captain Saka like most of the game did. It was 50-50 between the two of them for Palmer. Palmer really wasn't that involved other than that penalty. So I don't feel too unlucky. Like Saka's numbers have been pretty good. He's just he's created something like 16 chances recently. I think in none of those have been converted. So yeah, he's due a bit of a haul, and it just doesn't seem to be happening. No. But I think I'll just keep on to him for a while. Watkins and Alvarez I think were part of the first part of the game week where they both blanked as well, and then obviously I had Darwin, which I could have bought in Jota instead of Foden, but I went for Foden, and then I still had Darwin with his haul, which was nice. It wasn't a dream, and it actually happened in FPL. And he's looking like a bit of a hot property at the moment.
He's doing right, isn't he?
And the double possibly for Liverpool, and so I'm pretty happy with him right now.
Yeah, man. Like I was having a look at obviously your team as the points were coming in like last week, but 28 points off Gabriel on Darwin on that weekend just absolutely flew up. And we were talking last week about like the differences in our team, and I had Saliba and Archer to play who got 7 to get outscored by like 21 points off 2 players. It's mad. Yeah, but no, you had such a good end to the game week. But you're right about Saka, because I kind of feel like the outcome was right in terms of we thought that would be a big high scoring game, and it was, but how he didn't get any involvement in a 5-0, it's just what we said about him before. Like, he just doesn't seem like he is selfish enough to haul, or maybe his teammates, like you say, haven't been finishing his chances. But it's don't know, it didn't feel good because we knew Palmer already had like a nice captaincy score.
Yeah, if they just gave that sort of assist, he would have been on nearly 10 points, I think.
Maybe 10,
So it would have been fine. He wouldn't have blanked, and I think I figured out that I've had 6 out of my last 7 game weeks I've had captain blanks or something.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really not been good in that terms. But I did get a 100k green arrow back up to like 208 10k or something. So, or maybe 232 as it says there actually. But yeah, that's okay. Just need to keep it going. Some interesting decisions to be made going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start talking about that straight away, because you and I have probably got similar questions on what we do about Salah, I suppose, first and foremost, and then also what we're going to do about Haaland. We've obviously got lots of news coming about double game weeks being confirmed. Blank game week is now sort of taking blank game week 29 looks like it's going to be maybe 3 or 5 games missing, so that's looking between like 6 and 8 teams. So it's getting into the season of chip strategy for sure now. So I don't know, do you want to start talking to me about Salah, because I've got no idea what I'm doing this week and we've got 2 days until deadline.
So from Liverpool's official website, it said that he will return to Liverpool and begin the intensive rehab on his muscle injury. Then they said the injury is worse than first feared and will work with the club medical staff to be back in action as soon as possible, giving him the best chance to return to AFCON. So if Egypt advance. So it's probably expecting to be the AFCON final is something like Sunday, the 11th of February, which is 16 days from the date of writing, which was the 26th. So it's 14 days now. Is he going to come back within like 3 weeks, I guess, from a hamstring tear, I guess?
Soon, really.
It seems short, doesn't it? So FPL game week 24 starts on Saturday, the 10th of February. The AFCON finals, obviously, the 11th. They probably won't make it there anyway, I'd imagine. So he's likely, if he was ever to come back for the final, he's probably going to miss game week 24, it seems like, as well. And FPL game week 25, possible double game week for Liverpool, starts Saturday, 17th of February. So you'd expect him back for then, just about, you'd think. So he's already missed game week 21, which most people kept, just a bit more info. So he's already missed 1 week where we could have sold him, and then he's probably not back until at least game week 25. So it's 3 weeks or possibly 4 weeks to either sell him for short-term games or leave him rusting on your bench, because you're obviously going to want him back for the double if it happens, which I think their double would be Brentford and Luton at home. So yeah, you're going to want Salah there.
Do you not mind about the value issue? What do you think about that? Or do you think it's irrelevant now this time of season?
What, you mean selling or keeping?
Sorry, I mean if you sold him, because I imagine you'll be like buying him back for like 0.6 or 0.7 maybe, because you got him at a similar time to me.
It can't be that much more, can it?
I think I'm on
13. All right, he's 13.1, and I can sell him for 12.8. So I'm looking,
so 0.3. So it's not too big.
I mean, I've got 8.3 million in the bank at the moment. So yeah, I don't think it's too. I think 4 weeks of him missing, just sitting on the bench, feel like you should just sell him at this point, because you could get pretty much anyone else in the game. You can get a KDB if you really think that's worth it. I think it's team dependent. If you keep him on the bench, if you've got other buyers to put out, which I think I kind of do at this point, so I don't know, but 2 free transfers and possibly a hit is tempting me to move him on, because there's definitely good fixtures this week, and there's definitely teams with good fixtures that I don't have any part of, and I want to start targeting. So I think at the moment I'm trending towards sell, but I think my first call is selling a defender first, because I've got Gabriel, Taylor, and Gusto all injury flagged, and Gusto plays Liverpool and stuff like that. So there's other things. But what are you thinking sell wise?
It's funny, really, because when he was just away for AFCON, I kind of thought, like, at least we knew, we can keep track of when he's back. I kind of think with the injury, even though they've said, like, when they're expecting him back, I feel like it's always like in the best case scenario, a bit like what Haaland was, especially when he's such an important player. And I kind of think I've definitely learnt my lesson on Haaland this season and not selling him when he was injured and like immediately. And I think it'd probably be silly to do the same. Like, he's got because I think he's the second most expensive player in the game. Well, based on what Haaland's starting price was and live price, if that makes sense. But yeah, it would be silly to, I think, leave that much value on the bench if he's injured. If he's away, it's kind of a bit different, and Haaland was back. But the fact that we think that Haaland's not going to be back this week as well, it just seems like we've got a lot of cash in the bank, and everyone's going to be in the same boat, that we're not spending on a better target. I mean, I'm absolutely in the position to sell him now, because I know when I'm looking at my team this week, I was been playing like a 3-5-2 most of the season. So if Salah's part of that key 5, I'm playing one of my bench players. My bench players are fodder, like most people. So I think and Haaland's obviously not back to replace a striker, and I'm not keen otherwise. So I think most people, and probably me included, are going to be looking at selling him this week.
Yeah, I think obviously people are looking at KDB, and I think he could be a good option just because you're putting most of the money into him, and then you can easily sell back to Salah. Obviously KDB has got a double in 25 as well, but you just got to think, Brentford and Luton compared to KDB's, I think it is Chelsea and Brentford. Like the Salah one is better, obviously. So so many people will have him. So many people will probably captain him. But it's a risky at the same time. Is he going to play both? Is he going to straight after an injury? Like,
I don't know.
Don't even know.
He came off the bench in that, obviously, the difficult game against Spurs, and he did for 20 minutes. And he did talk previously, didn't he, when he finished the game against Newcastle, that at the moment he's only going to be good for playing potentially off the bench 20 minutes, half an hour, and building up. So the fact, especially now that 22 and 23 is this midweek followed by next weekend, I doubt he'll get a 90-minute in either one of them.
No.
Although if he does, he's probably benching the next game, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, I mean, KDB White, but Pep did say he's ready to start and play 90 minutes. So Pep said he's fine, but KDB said he isn't. So it's hard to say. He obviously got benched in the FA Cup. It's kind of impossible to predict what he's going to have for Burnley. And just on Salah as well, it's impossible to know if he's going to start both games in a double straight back from injury too. Yeah. So if he even is.
No. Who do you look at as are you thinking about Salah replacement this week? Is that pretty set in your mind? I think for me it is.
Yeah, like I said, I'm thinking of a transfer out of a defender, and then Salah is there just with the all that money. Just a possible KDB or a possible Richarlison, and other than that, I don't really love. Maybe even Doku. Someone's talking about Doku on Twitter, and he's just from the matchup and the zonals and all that stuff, they've gone into it quite detailed, and Doku seems to be the one that's going to be really good for this game.
Interesting.
So but is Doku going to play minutes? Grealish is still there too. It's a tough one, and historically tripling up on City attack has never really gotten well.
No, just
whereas obviously we know they're doubling in 25, and we could be getting a defender instead, because I've already got Foden and Alvarez, and obviously Alvarez or one of them is going to go to Haaland, and do I want a defender instead? So I don't know.
Probably not. I agree with your question about do you want a City defender. I don't think there's and I'll talk about them a little bit more when we talk about City in a minute, but I think it's a good point to get on them, because their fixtures are good, and they have a double, and they have a good run for a long time. But
they don't blank in 26.
They don't blank in 26. Yeah. They're but they just haven't been giving that many clean sheets recently. And it's all well and good that Walker's been a consistent 90-minute man. He obviously got an assist the other week against Newcastle, but I think it's the lack of clean sheets, and then especially from him, it's not like you're not getting that much attacking threat, and the others are all rotation prone as well. So I do think when you're looking at for me anyway, when you're looking at the doubles coming up and their good fixtures, I feel like I'm leaning towards targeting their attacking players. So maybe that does mean a double up on someone like a KDB, Foden / Doku. And even Bernardo I don't dislike at the minute, because he's been playing quite a lot of games, but he's never been a standout pick. His numbers have been good recently though.
He'll have one whole game, and you'll be really annoyed that you missed it, and then people will get tempted, and then he'll just not do much again for a while. That's just what Bernardo's like. I'm not tempted by Bernardo at all, to be honest.
What do you think about Jota changing like team and tact a little bit. I know you've got Darwin. I mean, he's played well. He's got 5 returns in about 120 minutes in the last 2 games, and he scored in their FA Cup game as well today. He's still like a bit of a differential, 7.7 million. Do you fancy the double Liverpool attack?
I don't mind it. I just think the fixtures are a bit like crap compared to City. Like Chelsea at home is obviously, I don't mind that at all. That's a fine fixture.
Yeah.
Arsenal away is obviously tough, but there could be goals in both those games. But then you look at City, you've got Burnley at home, and then the other game is Brentford away. Like, yeah, those that looks much better from a. But with City, it's just the minutes, isn't it? So, Jota and Darwin both scoring tonight in the FA Cup as well. So, yeah, they aren't struggling that much, and I think Trent was back as well. He got some minutes off the bench. Robertson as well. So they're starting to get back to full form. And yeah, with Klopp's sort of story coming out, then maybe they're going to try and go even harder for him. And you know, so
that was such a bombshell of news. That I think it's a funny time of the season to announce it. I remember when Alex Ferguson it was totally different, but like announced that he was going to retire. And this was like 20 years ago, and he announced it like in the middle of the season, and at the end of the season decided he was going to keep going. I think it's kind of strange time to announce it now because it's just got that like not hanging over them, but they all know it's going to happen. I imagine like he didn't want this news to come out now. It just seems like a strange time to announce it. But you're right. It's like, do they have more to play for, or are they more emotionally invested in it? I don't know. I don't know if it has much difference on FPL, but it's still an interesting time from a football perspective.
Indeed.
Yeah. I haven't really got. You know, my main thoughts for Salah replacements, probably KDB / Foden are near the top, purely because it's a good entry point this weekend with Burnley. But I don't trust either of them to play 90 minutes in like for the next 6 game weeks back to back, which, you know, I think would be a good thing to have on the replacement. I like Jota just because I don't have any Liverpool attack. They're obviously in great form at the moment, despite not having Salah. I don't think they're going to drop points against Chelsea. The Arsenal away game you flagged as being difficult. I absolutely agree. But then, like 2 weeks ago, they beat Arsenal quite convincingly in the FA Cup, and I feel like they could probably do the same. And then you're looking at the Burnley, Brentford, and Luton game. So, yeah, Jota does interest me. I feel like a real outside shout, which I was just looking at, and just based on fixtures alone, I think Eze is not bad at the moment. He's like super differential, 3.2% owned. But they've got like really good block of games coming up, but their form is bad at the minute. Like they've Sheffield United at home, Brighton away, Chelsea at home, Everton away, Burnley at home, and then Tottenham away, Luton at home. It's, you know, if you're probably looking for maybe a longer term hold with knowing a player who's not going to be swapped in and out of the team, you're probably looking at him as a talisman type figure, but you know his upside is nowhere near as high as the potential for KDB or a Foden or even Jota. So I think there's definitely different levels. He's very much like the gross pick of last week, if you like.
Yeah, I think Jota's not fully nailed on and guaranteed minutes either. So like Foden, like Jota's minutes in the Premier League since he's come back have been 6 minutes, 26 minutes, and then 90. And then I think he was benched in something the EFL semi-final, second leg semi-final, he's benched as well, and then he played today in the FA Cup. So what was the reason for him being benched there, really? Like, who knows? So whereas Foden has played the FA Cup, he started the last 5 Premier League games with 90 minutes, and then he started the two before that as well. So he's been playing pretty much non-stop since game week 4. Foden, he's not been benched since game week 4, or possibly Bournemouth one where he played 45 minutes. I'm not sure if he started that one, but still, he's been pretty good on the amount of minutes. But you know, KDB was injured, Doku was injured, like
exactly.
Grealish was injured for a while. Like, yeah, the minutes probably will be shared, but I feel like Foden has proved himself that he's stepped up. And he is going to get the majority of starts still, is my opinion. So if you're looking to buy, I feel like Foden is probably safer than KDB.
And this is very much just like X feeling rather than basing anything. But momentum seems like it's with City at the moment. Like I think like they've done well since coming back, and the fact that KDB's like lifted them, Haaland's coming back soon as well. I feel like there's a lot of momentum there, and that game on Friday in the FA, I appreciate it was FA Cup and maybe Spurs didn't leave everything on the line, but Spurs have been in great form in terms of an attacking sense this season, and just to limit them to one shot during the game away from home, where Man City have had I don't think they've won or even drawn, I think, at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So flip that on their head, even without Haaland and KDB starting, when they've been going through a rough run of results before the Club World Cup, I just feel like the momentum's with them. So you're right, maybe it is a good time to get that single or double up. I mean, I've got Alvarez already, but you've already on board with Foden. I'm just not sure about a defensive pick for them.
So obviously the sort of talk Haaland, what's going on with Haaland then?
Yeah, so well, from what I've tried to pick up from Guardiola, so this was, well, I'll read it out. So in the start, we thought it was a bit less. There was a little fracture on the bone. When you had these kind of injuries, it's between 6 and 8 weeks out. So the bone needs time to close. He's nearly at the end of 8 weeks. So the 8 weeks is going to be next weekend from today. So that would mean he would miss game week 22 and still be a doubt, I suppose, for game week 23.
He's been training for like the last 10 days, right? And no issues.
Exactly. But I'm only going off so this is what Pep said. I think it was prior to this FA Cup game. So he just said he feels good, now he needs the rhythm to start to get minutes, and then he will be fit. So next weekend, like I say, game week 23, meaning he'll miss at home to home to Burnley, and he would be there, I imagine, but not confirmed obviously it's starting, for Brentford, which is the Monday night game. So it's quite a big gap between the Burnley and Brentford game. And after that, their fixtures for City, like we say, are good. So they've got this Burnley, then they've got Brentford, Everton, Chelsea, and then Brentford again the double game week. And I think they've got Bournemouth after that. Sorry, the Chelsea and Brentford game is the double. So I kind of think the fixtures for them, it's never an issue, the fixtures really, because they're always good and City are always good. But it's like I said about the momentum, it's not as if they need to get him back, because I think they're doing well without him. So my gut feeling on it, which is all I think we can do at the moment, is that he doesn't play against Burnley. He's not risked, because that's.
Do you think he makes the bench?
Maybe.
Yeah. Do you think he comes on then from the bench?
Yeah, maybe for 10-15 minutes at the end, because for me that's a game that they're probably not going to lose. If it was a game like Arsenal at home, I could absolutely see this is all speculation, but if it was Arsenal at home, I could see a case in point where he's on the bench and he comes on for half an hour at the end if they're losing. Whereas at Burnley, I kind of expect them to be a goal or two up, and he just stays on the bench, and he has another 5 days of training. He doesn't risk anything, and then he's in and around the selection for game week 23. So I don't know.
You're thinking you're not bringing him back this week. You're gonna wait till. Would you bring him back for 23 for Brentford?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's my thought, because I don't think.
And you don't think he could start? He could get 60, or he could be benched and play 30 off the bench at Brentford as well.
Yeah, I think any one of those three things can happen at Brentford. But I think the most likely thing about this Burnley game is at best he comes off the bench, because I think based on what obviously Pep is not going to give us a straight answer, but the clearest indication was he said he's nearly at the end of the 8 weeks, which is going to be next weekend. So the fact that the injury takes 6 to 8 weeks, that's kind of a highlight that, look, he's not going to get risked against Burnley, and he's back for Brentford. So yeah, I don't think this week is the one I'm going to bring him back on.
So he's 51% owned still, and his effective ownership is probably, you'd imagine most active teams do not have him still. So his effective ownership is probably 20 tops, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I think he certainly could be something you just forget about him for game of 22. And then 23 seems like who's selling to get him though? Is it Alvarez?
Well, that's I think with difficulty. So from a 3-5-2 perspective, which is like me at the moment, I kind of think it seems mad to get rid of a double game week player, doesn't it? When and also when their fixtures are that good. So there is a possibility that Watkins gets sold because his form in the league has not been good recently.
Yeah, but then like he's got Sheffield United 23, and then he's got 26, which is obviously the blank. He's got Nottingham Forest at home. Like, I don't think like Watkins is the right sell for me personally, but I see, because I've got Foden already, and I possibly get KDB / Doku or something for Salah. The move from Alvarez to Haaland sort of makes more sense because I'll still have 3 City. But I think Alvarez would be so harsh to not be playing at all, and he's still on all set pieces and so many avenues and routes to points. As he would really worry me selling him. Like, he'd just be the one of those guys.
So long as well.
Yeah, it's just he looks like he can haul in basically every game. Like he's to be so unlucky that he's not hauling basically all the time. But at the same time, he also feels like he's a little bit periphery in some of the attacks. Like he sort of drops deep, and then he's just not in the right place when for like balls kind of like dropping off the keeper or stuff like that. He's not quite the 9 that Haaland is. So yeah, maybe I should not worry about that. But
it might circle back to captaincy as well.
Double up has been nice, but yeah.
Well, it might circle back to captaincy as well, mightn't it? Because if you're going to have both of them in the team, perhaps it's not been that much of an option. But if Alvarez has been playing and Haaland's still coming back, like when you're looking at maybe just this game week and the Brentford game in isolation, if Pep still says, "Oh, he'll be involved," I don't know if I'd risk putting the captaincy on him even for game week 23 because it could be another off the bench.
Yeah.
So
I mean, at the same time with KDB, he obviously came off the bench at the FA Cup for Alvarez. So, and that's happened twice now, I think, with KDB. So, yeah, it looks like Alvarez is the one that's going to be losing minutes for KDB. It could be Bernardo as well, because I think Bernardo's been dropping further back when KDB's come on. KDB's come on very high up the pitch in his minutes so far. So Bernardo could be one that gets sacrificed too instead of Alvarez. But yeah, it's whether you you sell Alvarez and you're happy with a Haaland plus Foden or KDB
combo,
and you're happy with losing Alvarez. I don't know because it's really hard to sort of predict his minutes going forward.
Absolutely. And Spanner in the chat said Alvarez with KDB and Haaland back is a minutes risk, and I kind of I agree because he's threatened by both of them. Like KDB could play in that position,
and Haaland, for sure.
So I absolutely agree with that. And if I'm going to move back to a 3-5-2 structure, it does make sense to sell him. And I sold Haaland to get Alvarez, and there's no reason why I wouldn't reverse it. And even though it was like a difficult watch for weeks, not having Alvarez, it wasn't like I still wasn't making ground, if that makes sense. So I just think it's another tricky decision we've got because there's unknowns as well about Salah. I think it's just such 2 key players, and even having like 25 odd million budget on both of them and not being able to use that somewhere else, it just seems like a difficult time to make a decision, really.
City's fixture at 26 is Bournemouth is away, whereas Watkins has Nottingham Forest at home. So either one is probably okay to sell because you've got a good fixture either way. But if you're not planning to free hit 26, which I think most people probably shouldn't, they should probably free hit 29. 26 seems like we can probably get teams like 9-10 players out just fine. So it's just which players you want to still have in your team for that 26.
I know. I feel like I need to start. It was still like 3 game weeks away, but I think because of the quick back-to-back fixtures, I need to start thinking about game week 26 because I think on paper you're right. I think because we now know that annoyingly all of our Premier League teams are doing so well in the FA Cup, the fact that the game week 29 is going to be the bigger blank game week, it does make sense to use a free hit there.
Yep.
And then trying to just patch up your team best you can for game week 26.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking maybe game week 25 is... Well, I was for a long time thinking game week 25 was going to be the triple captain option, and it still might be.
Could be, yep.
Yeah, so hopefully Haaland's back in time for that one, because it looks like Salah's... Yeah, Salah's so typical, isn't it? You want those reliable players back for the triple captaincy chip, so... Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of gaming 25, we've got confirmed is Brentford, which they have Liverpool at home and Man City away. Obviously tough. They're not looking at any of their players other than possibly Tony. Man City obviously have got Chelsea at home and then Brentford at home, 2 home games. You probably back them to win both of those, possible clean sheets in both. So yeah, if you want to back a defender, seems fine too, possibly anyway. And then apparently it's very likely that the Liverpool, now that they've won in the FA Cup, and I think it's Luton are definitely blanking or something like that, because they got through as well. That it looks like the game of 26 is definitely be a blank, and it looks like it's going to go straight into 25.
Got it.
So Liverpool is going to be Brentford and then Luton at home, and Luton would have Man United at home and Liverpool away. Obviously that's not confirmed, but it seems like pretty likely at this point. So that's why we're looking at Jotas and Salahs and Trents and stuff like that. So Liverpool, but Liverpool blank in 26. So the blank game is 26 confirmed teams blanking is Chelsea, Liverpool, Luton, and Tottenham. And they've obviously all got good fixtures.
I know, right.
So yeah, Chelsea's fixtures actually aren't that great. So Chelsea have the worst rated fixtures until game week 30 from game week 22 onwards of all teams. Liverpool, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Man City, blank, Brentford, Newcastle, Arsenal, and Burnley. So they've got Liverpool, Wolves. Wolves are not an easy game. Man City, then the blank, then they've got Newcastle and Arsenal as well after the blank. So I'm looking at Augusto out, now, because he's possibly, he said he should be back, but like he's blanking 26. These 2 fixtures, Liverpool at home or away, is obviously not good. So Gusto, I think, is out. I think I'm fine carrying Palmer for now, because Palmer's just been good and he's cheap. So Palmer's fine for now. Liverpool, they have the second worst rated fixtures in terms of difficulty out of all the teams until game week 30 as well. So theirs is Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, Burnley at home, Brentford away, then blank, which is 26. And then you got Nottingham Forest away, Man City at home, Everton away, Brighton at home. So yeah, there's some tough games in there as well. But Chelsea seems fine for goals, Arsenal seems fine for goals, Burnley also seems fine for goals, obviously Brentford, and then after the blank they seem good for Nottingham Forest as well. So I don't think you have to be worrying too much about Liverpool players. It's just whether you bring them in for this double. They should be confirming that pretty soon, because people are going to have to know for arrangement. Luton have this.
I was going to say, I'd love for any normal season to have 3 Liverpool players for this upcoming game week, but like you say, because we're looking at maybe navigating 26 without playing a chip. If they're going to have 3 Liverpool players, most people are going to have at least 1 Spurs player and maybe a Chelsea player. It's starting to rack up the numbers that you're going to feel for that 26.
I think a defender, a Trent, can possibly wait this week for sure. Obviously, I think it's fine, but we'll most of us will be backing Palmer to score. And then after that, Wolves. Arsenal away is obviously tough too, actually. But then they got Burnley, Brentford, blank, Forest, and then the Luton game possibly, and the double as well. So the triple up seems nice, but it is the double afterwards. So maybe 2, as we've said last week. I think 2 probably is fine. It's just whether you go Trent plus Salah, or I've got Darwin already. Maybe I go Darwin and Salah. Seems okay. I don't know. What do you think for Liverpool? You only have Salah, right?
I only have Salah at the minute. I know, that's why I'm kind of interested in Jota, because it keeps the 3-5-2 for another week, and he could be kept for the double, and it means only making maybe 1 or 2 transfers for this week. I do kind of like getting, I don't know, another City player, and maybe it's a good time to get rid of Gusto, but I hate making defensive transfers. It just seems like such a waste. Like, on paper it seems a good idea to get someone like Walker this week ahead of a longer run, but I don't know how much it pays off in the long run. Just don't know.
Well, for me it pays off in the long run. I'm selling Gusto because he doesn't have a fixture in 26, and I need as many players as I can get out for that week. And then Gusto's fixtures are the worst in the league, as I said. So, and he's not even guaranteed fit right now. And they've kept 2 clean sheets back to back. I think one in the FA Cup, one in the EFL, in a row with him not playing. So why would they sort of change that at the moment? for me, he's my transfer out plus a salary. I've got 2 free transfers, so yeah. Yeah, so players to target, I guess, at this point for the doubles and the blank. So Tony, 8 million, 4% owned at the moment, so he's a big differential right now. He's obviously got 2 really bad fixtures for the double. Yeah, who are they playing the double again? It's Liverpool at home and Man City away. So that's not great. But their fixtures up until then, I've not written this down. I should have done.
Whose fixtures? Sorry.
Tony's.
Oh right.
So they got Spurs this week. Then they got Man City at home as well in the league, which is gross. And then Wolves away and Liverpool at home. So they're not great. But Tony came back, talisman again, goal. Do you think that was cheating? Like, just off topic a bit. Do you think it was cheating what he did? Because there's a big sort of debate about that.
I don't know. He did it intentionally. I don't know about cheating.
Yeah.
I don't know about cheating. I think it's like bending the rules a little bit, because it says you can't move it forward, but it doesn't say anything about moving it side to side apparently.
Okay, fair enough. Right, so his stats were obviously a 0.11 xg, 0.3 xa versus Forest. Not great in one game, but it's a small sample size, obviously. But he did this a lot last season. He got his 1 goal. He got 3 bonus in that game as well, despite there being 5 goals in that game. Don't know how that happened, but it did. And he loved a 9-pointer last season as well with a 1 goal and 3 bonus. So, he started that trend again pretty early. So, yeah, I think he's got the double. 2 games is always better than 1, but it depends if they can do anything. They've been historically quite good against City, Brentford. So, and they've got 2 fixtures against City coming up. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I did. To be honest, I was excited that Tony would come back just to fill the striker pool of players, and the fact that he came back and got like a 9-pointer off the back of that was great. And I think he's going to be in. Did you just say in 26 as well, because they play West Ham, so he's not blanking. So yeah, that's like a good reason to get him, and he's going to play 90 minutes, and he's going to be in all set pieces. So yeah, I was
surprised he played 90 as well. I was just thinking, like, I didn't know he'd been training really properly the whole time, and he just came straight 90. Like, I just was surprised, but fair play. He's done well, and then he's a good striker.
Who have they got this weekend? Sorry, they got Spurs
this weekend. Yeah,
difficult start, but
could see him scoring though. Yeah. Like that's not a bad fixture for attack wise.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't mind Tony at all, and I think I'd prefer him to someone like Darwin, even though Darwin has like a better double, if that makes sense.
Seriously? Wow, okay.
Yeah, just because he's more of like a talisman. He's on pens. He's definitely going to start. I think he's probably a slightly better player, but worse team. I don't know. I just think, maybe I'd pick him. Anyway.
Interesting. Okay.
What else have we got to talk about? Do you want to have a quick chat about City defenders before we look at our...
is there obviously a City defender we can rely on for the double and all these minutes? So Walker... 5.4 million, 17.9% owned, which I think I didn't realize it was that high.
No.
He's obviously had some off-field issues at the moment, but he's been starting 100% all the time. He's started every single game in the Premier League this season. He's only been subbed early once, which is past the clean sheet point at 67 minutes. So he's had 2 assists, 0 goals. His highest XG in a game was 0.04, which is obviously not good. Highest XA was 0.79, which is okay, but that was only in 1 game. The rest of them are around the 0.2, 0.3 mark. But yeah, he's been the only nailed City player so far in the defense this season, which basically never happens because Walker was a bit AWOL last season. So. But he's the 12th highest scoring defender with 65 points, and he's actually below like players like Anderson, who's on 69, Tarkovsky, who's on 71, and White, who missed quite a few games with an injury. He's on 75. So, and then there's obviously the likes of Trent and stuff like that above him. City defense is the 6th best for clean sheets, which is 5, but they're actually below Man United and Everton, etc. And then the last 6 game weeks, however, their XGC, expected goals conceded, is 4.7, which is actually the first over the last 6 weeks. Really? So they're obviously trending upwards. They just haven't been getting the clean sheets as it was sort of the numbers and the stats predict. Yeah. So I do not think it's a bad decision to go there. I think someone like Vardiol could be okay. Ake could be all right as well. And then the horrible pick of Edison is maybe okay, but yeah, if you go for a City defender, I don't think you can be too mad about it because it makes sense on paper.
It does make sense, but I just feel like the reason I'm just not excited about the City defenders is just the lack of clean sheets. Like you're right, the numbers are great, but like all the way back to game week 7, let's say when they played Wolves, obviously bear in mind we're going into 22 now, they've only kept 2 clean sheets against Man United and against Sheffield United. So it's not as if they're putting up. They're basically backing up the underlying numbers, but their defensive options are cheap. Gvardiol's 4.8, Ake's 5, Carl Walker's 5.4. So they're not bad prices. And Carl, I think that having a look at some numbers, those 3 have got like 18 goal attempts between them in the last 4 matches. So they're getting forward, and we saw that in that FA Cup game. That it was Ake who ended up getting the winner. It was
Stones heroics from a couple of years ago when we all got him for a double, and he got like 20 odd points or something, wasn't it? So yeah, it certainly can happen with one of these defenders. It's just picking which one. I don't expect Walker to get double digits, but an Ake could. Vardiol looks like he's getting much higher forward most games now, and he's looking like he could be getting an assist sometime soon because he's getting a few crosses in. So is he nailed though? I don't know about Gvardiol.
I know, and I made this wider point when I was looking at the stats for this Burnley game. Because I wanted to just mention what a good entry point it is for City players and how Burnley are performing recently, and they're actually like the 4th worst for XGC over the last 4 game weeks. Only conceded 5 goals, 1 clean sheet away from home all season. So I was thinking, from an attacking point of view, this is the game you want to target. But when I was looking at their top expected points players over the last 4 game weeks, Walker actually just gets in just underneath Alvarez and Foden. So he's data-wise, he should be a solid pick, and you're right, the fixtures are there for it, and he's got great minutes this season. I think you're always looking for a reason to not get someone as well, so like why are his minutes going to drop off all of a sudden? The same, perhaps you're right, of like Foden, who I've been doubting and thinking, is he going to be suddenly dropped from the team? But maybe not. Maybe this is the season, and it's just taking me anyway longer to realise it. Cool. Is there any more you want to talk about, or should we just talk about our teams?
Just mention Estepinian, who is possibly my bring in from Gusto. 5.1 million, 26% owned now. I think quite a lot is still probably dead teams with that. 6 and 8 in the last 3 weeks. 206 minutes out of the 270 minutes played. So chance for more points once he gets the full 90s. And they've had 3 clean sheets in a row. Obviously not yesterday when they played Sheffield United in the Cup, but still. They hadn't managed one clean sheet until he's come back, basically. So, but his XGI against Tottenham in the league was 0.03. His XGI against West Ham in the league was 0.06, and then against Wolves it was 0.11. So his numbers are not great. He's only had 1 shot since game week 19 to 21. 0 big chances himself, 4 key passes, and 0 big chances created. So his stats aren't good, but he does pass the eye test. He is super attacking still. He played wing back in the Cup, and he was very far forward. I think he played left centre back or something in the league the other day, so that's not great, but he did go back to his wing back role in the Cup. So their fixtures are Luton away, Crystal Palace, Tottenham away, then Sheffield United away, Everton, Fulham, Forest. There's really not a much better run in the league than that at the moment. And with how attacking he is, and they play 26. I think it's Everton at home for them. So, there doesn't seem like much to not like there. But maybe I go for... Nah, actually, I'm talking to myself. I don't want a City defender. I want triple attack. So maybe he could go to Trent, possibly. Gusto to Trent. That's a lot of money, though.
Do you know when... Brighton are back in. Do you know when Champions League / Europa League starts again? I'm just thinking, how many more weeks have we got without immediate involvement for a stupid thing? Because I'd be happier to know it didn't start until
Champions League starts again. February-ish, middle of February, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
But when he's been fit, he usually plays all the minutes. So I'm not too worried about that. I think last season he played all the minutes all the time. So
it's a shame his ownership's so high from dead teams, because it'd be nice if he was just a 10% differential just because of his injury, but because he's been so auto picked from the start, it's not like I don't know, maybe making ground on active players, obviously, but yeah, it just feels like a bit of a shame. All right, well, should we talk about our teams and really wrap up? We should have turned this stream into a live stream Man United reaction game. Have you seen the score?
I have not.
It's
no.
back from 2-0 to 2-2.
Oh dear.
I know. We could be our own like goal bridges. Just watching on BBC stream. That's disgraceful. I saw someone in the chat saying Jammer says Newport County have levelled. Oh, it's a disgrace.
Shocking.
It is. It's a disgrace. Right.
At least we don't have to talk about them for doubles or anything.
That's true. God, we've scraping the barrel properly, wouldn't we? All right.
Yep.
Let's bring up my team here. I'll go first. Why not? Because mine's worse off, I think, this week. So where are we? Got Areola in goal, Saliba, Porro, and Bell. Woohoo! Starting in defence. I got Richarlison, Gordon, Saka, Palmer. The midfield looks gross this week as well. Gordon away at Villa and Palmer away at Liverpool, and Saka, who can't score, away at Forest. It just looks bad.
Ah, looks fine.
Ugh, got Archer away at Crystal Palace at the minute. He's probably going to go Alvarez at home to Burnley and Watkins at home. And then the bench, like you, it's all flags at the minute. Gusto, Taylor, and Salah. So since it loaded into game week 22, I've been pretty set on Alvarez captaincy, and I don't know who I'd pick beyond that, even if I made a transfer. So,
do you not like Richarlison captain? I think that seems to be getting a buzz on Twitter.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a Richarlison captain wouldn't be bad. I suppose that extra point for the goal might be quite good. I don't know. It's just almost like I agree. The fixture is good. I just think City, if they get an early goal, could like get 3 or 4, a bit like that Arsenal game, and I'd back Alvarez to be involved in more goals than Richarlison might. But no, I see. Yeah, I get your thought there. So I'm really still a bit quite unsure what I'm going to do. I think my top thing to do is Salah to Foden/Jota and Bell to Walker. That's probably my top thing. Or no, sorry, not Bell. Gusto to Walker, sorry.
You're going for City defence then? Wow.
Maybe. And then I'll just have one for each position for the double. So I'll have one defender, one midfielder, one striker.
Okay, interesting.
So I might do that. That's my maybe at the moment. I'm really struggling this week. I think
2 free transfers?
No, just one as well. So I'd have to take a hit. But I think it's like I said a minute ago, it's like a good entry point. I think I've got to start to look towards game week 26 a little bit, and maybe I could get away with leaving Salah on the bench a bit longer because I've still got quite a lot of money in the bank.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to start Archer this weekend really because he's been dropped.
Yeah.
So
and I would love to keep Gusto because after Liverpool, their 2 fixtures are Crystal Palace and possibly
Wolves,
Brentford.
I think it's Wolves.
That's it. Yeah. So those 2 are pretty decent to start, but we're not guaranteed that he's going to go straight back into the team.
Yeah.
And selling Taylor because they're basically about the same price would have been nice because he's got City in, and we don't know if he's going to come back either anytime soon. But Taylor does play in 26, which is another player, and I think it's a decent fixture as well, as far as I remember. So, just got to hope he comes back in soon. He can't be that far away. He's been injured for a good few weeks now.
They got Palace away. I just checked.
Yeah, I like those moves. Starting Archer is not optimal, I would say. So
then he started in the cup when they seem to rotate most of their team as well. So
that Diaz, Ben Barroton, or whatever it is, Diaz. Pretty much replaced him now, hasn't
he? Yeah, which is a pain. So I think I'm probably going to more than likely take a hit, and I think Salah come out. It's such a shame Haaland's not back because I'd kind of line this up for Haaland being back, and Archer to Haaland seemed quite a straightforward move.
Yep.
But I'm not sure now. So that's the most likely. What would you do out of interest
for your team?
Yeah, why not?
I think those moves sound good. I would probably look at Foden over Jota, but you don't have any Liverpool attack at all, so that's kind of tough.
But maybe I don't need it. Chelsea and Arsenal, I agree, are difficult games.
Yeah, no, true.
And then I don't know. I think I'd like to get to the point, obviously, with getting Salah back for 25 is an option. so I don't want to totally like write him off completely. But
sure,
I appreciate that we don't know the length of his injury, so it makes it difficult.
Right. Yeah, those moves sound good.
Okay. All right, let's move over. Let's have a look at your team. Here it is. Like you say, oh god, I didn't realise you got 5 flags.
Yeah, so Nakamba's been gone for God knows how long. Obviously he's a fodder, but still, would have been nice to have him not be injured. Yeah, Gabriel, don't really know what's happening with him at all. I think I asked for if what's happening with him on Twitter, and nobody seemed to know. Apparently, I think I saw something where he wasn't in training, which is not great. But their fixture is Tuesday as well, so he's got a couple days. I imagine he'll be fine. I hope so anyway. But if he's not, then I need to do something with my bench players. With the 2 free transfers in Gusto, I've got a good fixture. I think Gusto out to somewhere makes sense. I think it's probably Estepinian. Other than that, I'm not sure where I would go. Maybe City, but I don't really love the City shout of defense. And then I'm thinking, Salah to I don't know who. Like it could be a Jota, it could be a Richarlison, could just be to a KDB, and just I'd be tempted to captain KDB if he.
Nice.
I just feel like he should start that one and play 60 minutes, and is that enough for a captaincy? Possibly not. But yeah, I don't mind the Alvarez captain until then, but Alvarez will probably come off for KDB if KDB doesn't start. So it's a tough sort of situation here. I think Gusto is for sure out, and Salah out, and then that should be enough. I just won't have any bench, but most of my players should at least get minutes.
What would you play if you got rid of Gusto for Stupinan and Gabriel's fit? Would you still get rid of Salah? Would you play 4-3-3?
I'd have a bench issue, wouldn't I? Yeah, good point.
Because that would be 4 nice defensive fixtures, really.
Yeah, I'd maybe bench Konsa. Newcastle at home is pretty tough. Maybe even Watkins bench.
No.
Maybe even Palmer bench, maybe.
Oh god, I don't like either of those. I'd rather bench Konsa.
Yeah, I'd probably bench Konsa. Yeah, that would probably be the way.
Still, it's like a good fixture, but very difficult.
Yeah, it's tough, but I think it would be nice to hold Salah just for 1 week. But
I know, just if we get another update.
Yeah, but that Burnley fixture, and Richarlison, I feel like is a good option too. But even Maddison is coming back fit. I think Kudus is not a bad option either. I'd like to punt on him because he's back from the AFCON because they got knocked out. And Kudus, West Ham have got Bournemouth at home. Obviously, the next 2 not great. Man United away and then Arsenal at home. But after that, Forest away, Brentford home, Everton away, Burnley home. Their fixtures are great.
Yeah. No,
so, I agree. And obviously they beat Arsenal in was it the FA Cup or the EFL? Yeah, they smashed Arsenal in the EFL. And Man United away, I don't think Bowen plus Kudus together, I think that's not bad. I don't think they can't score in that either. So yeah, there's options. Maddison, I expect, will probably still be benched this week, I think.
I don't know. He came on for like half an hour, didn't he?
Yeah, well, maybe he does start. So they've got Kulusevski back as well. He played against City in the FA Cup. Son's probably not that far away either. I think they did get through, but yeah, they're getting fit again. Their first choice defense is fit again with Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, and Udogi. So yeah, I like Spurs at the moment. And their fixtures look good.
I'm happy.
Other than the blank, but I think Porro is probably going to lose. Porro could be a sell soon-ish because he's going to lose the set pieces to Maddison. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. And when they had Maddison and Son and stuff like that, the fullbacks were not as attacking. So that could sort of happen again where they're
go against him.
Go against Porro, yeah. If he loses set pieces, then he will not be as strong of an option.
No, I feel like it's another crucial decision-making point. Just there's lots to decide on this week. I think captaincy's up in the air. So so let's say, I'm pretty confident I'm going to captain Alvarez. Maybe Richarlison would be my vice. If KDB's not your captain, Who do you think?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it's really tough. It probably Alvarez probably does make the most sense if we still think he starts.
I think Alvarez is the boring pick, to be honest. But
yeah, Porro captain.
That would be good fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, maybe Darwin. It's probably not a bad shout. He's got 3 goals in his last 2 matches. So yeah.
I kind of fancy that to be quite a high scoring pool game as well. So yeah, could be. God, imagine your balls. Yeah, Darwin captain.
It's just the minutes of like Foden. I'm just never that confident in. I know I'm pretty sure he'll play it. I'm just not sure he's going to haul in any match.
That's why I'm like unsure about getting him. I don't trust him, and it's irritating. But then at the same time, you're right. He can just he can go so big.
Yeah, remember when he got that hat trick with last year?
Haaland,
yeah.
Well, like I had a look at his. I mean, I know we're going over it now, but I had a look at his numbers. I don't think he's had a single big chance in the last 4 game weeks.
Is that
Alvarez
right?
has had 4. 2 more than the next nearest, which was Bernardo. Bob's had 1, and Foden's had none. I just like his shots in the box and his like attacking numbers for goals are not high. I mean, assists much better, but yeah, I just think he's just not gonna.
I think Alvarez captain kind of makes sense because of the set pieces, the free kicks. Who's on penalties when Haaland's not there?
It's him.
Have we even said
he took one against Everton, didn't he?
Did he? Okay.
I'm pretty sure he took one against Everton.
I honestly can't remember. I don't think. Right, was that while Haaland was out?
Yeah, it was like 3 game weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like Alvarez. Makes sense.
Oh, funny. All right. Have you got any more to say before we wrap up?
No. Well, I'm tempted to leave Salah on the bench 1 week. That would be interesting to just sell Gusto and play Gabriel and hopefully Gabriel's fit.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, let's wrap up there. It's a shame Man United have just gone 3-2 up. We would have had such a fun show if we were just doing the we react to Man United games.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Yeah. We need to do a match of the day sometime soon. But I go to bed early. Right. Thanks everyone for joining us. That was good fun. I can't believe we've been an hour.
Oh, we managed it.
No, it's good. Right. Thanks everyone. We'll be back maybe between game week 22 and 23. It's a short turnaround time, isn't it? So we'll see.
Yeah, we should be able to do Wednesday or Thursday.
I'm sure we can squeeze that in. Right. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah. Cheers all.
Ta-ra for now. Bye bye.